Starting. There is on air. Okay, so we're live. David Harty from the G4 Guitar Network. What we're going to do in this a talk is we're going to go through how to conduct a meeting, the kind of things that you need to do if you're a school owner and you've got teachers, guitar teachers working for you. We want to know exactly how to run the meeting to get the most out of it. So I've got Joachim here from one of our schools in Sydney, in Paddington, with Ryan, who's his star teacher. And what we want to do is we're just going to run it like a normal meeting. We're going to just pretend that the camera's not here and that you're not here, and we're just going to go through the process as if it were a meeting. But the way I'm going to conduct it is if it was in my school, and that you two guys are my teachers. All right, so you can both sort of behave in the teacher roles because you're both teaching anyway, so we'll do it like this. And I will stop and sort of jump in and just throw comments in here and there. But just to get it started, to introduce it, I just want to kind of tell you the basic format that I would run and what I ran. I ran a whole series of meetings generally. I've done it for years with different teams and different staff. But when I had the G4 schools and I was running it there, it was a weekly event. We would always run it at the same time, and we would run it literally for a couple of hours. Quite often it would go for up to 2 hours or even longer on occasion. But the idea was that in that time, what we wanted to do was really go through any of the issues that the teachers had. So in a typical meeting, what you want to be able to do is give the teachers a chance to role play and to work through issues, because it's one thing to give advice, but it's another thing to actually see you in action. I can sit there and I can tell you how to get students to practice, how to fix a particular problem, but it's different when you've got a student there who's saying, oh, I don't want to practice, or they're giving you lots of resistance or objections. And so the first thing I want to say is I understand as teachers that it's easy for me to sit here and tell you the ideal, but in the real world it's quite different, and that's what we want to do, is we want to play out the real world. I want you to play the students who are difficult, that you're having problems with, the situations you're having problems with, and then we'll sort of go from there. So let me start with Ryan, because Ryan is Joachim's employee, so what we want to really do is try and spend the majority of time with Ryan here, but Joachim, you're going to jump in as well. So Ryan, can you tell me an example? Remember, we're not using names here, but an example of somebody, a student that you have, that you're having any kind of challenge with at the moment, something that we can sort of work through.
Perhaps like one student that's a little bit further behind in the group. Not necessarily because they're less enthusiastic, just because of their maybe a C-type learner, we could say. Yeah.
Yep. Good. Excellent. And just for the record, we sort of talk about A, B, C type learners, and it doesn't mean that that A is smarter than C or even better in any respect. It's just simply saying that different students have different levels of commitment and motivation. And there are those students who are the A students who just want, they're keen as, they go home and practice every week like crazy. And then there's the Bs who are kind of, well, if we say the Cs are the ones who are kind of very slow on the uptake. Perhaps they're not practicing much. They're not that motivated. And then the Bs are really in the middle. They're kind of, and your Cs are the kind of students that you probably will have a lot of trouble turning around. It may never work out, and that's okay. Whereas your Bs,
I'd refer to them as like maybe an A type. They're probably an A type student, but they're just maybe a bit older, so that they find it a little bit trickier to remember things or keep it going. Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's break it down. Let's have a look. How many are in the group?
I'd say 4.
4 students in the group. Okay, good. And are we talking adults or kids here?
Adults.
Adults. Okay, good. 4 adults. All right. Now, is this particular student, are they practicing equally as much as the other students?
Yes, they've been filling in the practice log to say that they've been practicing just as much, yes.
Okay, good. So practice is equal. So is there anything in respect to an unevenness? Are they less enthusiastic? Are they less, that they're not following what you're asking them as much? Is there any reason for them not to be of equal standard?
Um, it is a bit confusing because they are as enthusiastic as, possibly even more enthusiastic maybe as some of the students, but they just seem to find it difficult, perhaps remembering certain things. Perhaps if we're going over a song, to remember just like those parts of the song, or a particular way in which we did an exercise. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let me go to you. How do you feel with that student in the class? Do you feel it's a bit stressful? Do you feel that they're kind of holding back the others? You're spending too much time with that student? What's the issue?
Sometimes it feels like having to hold back the class as an overall, to allow for, to kind of like meet his needs and try to get him to move forward.
Okay. Yep. So with that particular student, you kind of get stuck. Is that right? You sort of think, well, what do I do with this student? Where do I take them? Do you feel it would be easier without them in that group? Would the rest of the group run really well without that particular student in there?
Sorry, you can just have to open the door for a moment. It's quite noisy out there. Just can you say that again?
Yeah, sure. Do you think it would be easier without that student in that group? If you took that student out and put them in, say, would it be easier or no?
Yeah, I think it would be. Yeah, it possibly could be. Yeah, if I could put him in another group with people that probably at his more similar level, it might be a little bit easier. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if there's space to do that, like if you've got the availability, I wouldn't be afraid to do that. That's one option. Okay. It's not that we want to walk away from the challenge. It's just that we want to go for whatever is going to be the best option in the short term. So right now, what is it that's going to kind of fix that problem? Because you don't want to risk losing the other 3 students. If you've got 3 good students who are all of a similar level, all doing really well, and you've got 1 student who, for whatever reason, is not keeping up, then I know there are other reasons, and it could be that the other 3 students are just, they have a musical history. Maybe they learnt music as kids as well, or they learnt piano or something. Maybe it be because this one particular student is exaggerating their practice. Maybe they're not practicing what they've been told to practice. You don't know because you're not at home with them, so it's hard to know the full picture. But let's just play out the other side of it, just for the sake of this exercise. If that student is, let's just imagine that you feel that student just needs to work harder to get the work done. So can you give me an example of a skill? Pick something that they're not keeping up with, but the other 3 are doing well with, but this particular student.
Yeah, arpeggios.
Okay, arpeggios. All right, good. So when you do the arpeggios, the other students are going home. They're obviously practicing the arpeggios. Do you really feel that the students going home and doing the same practice, or what's your feeling?
Yeah, it's one of those really odd sort of students. Like I usually can tell quite easily if a student's not doing practice, but just definitely with the enthusiasm that they come in and their dedicated sort of nature. When they're kind of doing that particular exercise, it seems like there's maybe the little details of maybe where you're placing your thumb and certain things like that. He might get it in that lesson, and then to go home, he seems to forget about it.
Right. Okay. So he's not paying attention to how to actually do it. Is that? Right?
I think he does have all the intentions and of paying attention, but it's maybe just simply remembering it. It's one of those odd sort of cases. Yeah. Because I don't like to put it down to age, but he is the oldest member of the group.
Okay. Yeah. I understand. He may just not be retaining the information what to do. Look, if you can see that that's the problem, and that he's just not able to progress at the pace of the other students, I would definitely move him to another group. Because you're going to be putting a lot of energy into him, and the other 3 are going to get a bit annoyed after a while.
I think we may have actually lost one of the students because we haven't heard from him for a little while. Is it June? Yeah.
No, she's okay.
Have you spoken to her?
Yeah, she's coming today.
Oh shit! Okay, good. We just didn't hear from one of the students.
She's no names on the video.
Yeah. They've Yeah, we didn't hear from him for a little while, so I thought maybe that they.
Okay,
kind of
cool, cool. Look, that's cool. Look, I think the solution is obvious because you're going to get other students of that move at that pace of that the student that we're talking about, and really what you're trying to do anyway is match up the students who are going to move at a particular pace. I have no problem with putting two students who are quite different in their level, as long as the enthusiasm is the same, because they sync after a while. It's whether it's that lack. Yeah, you got to. It's just getting the right. It's like playing in a band. It's better to play with a couple of guys who are enthusiastic and keen to turn up for rehearsals and practice, even if they're not as good as you are. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I know that too well. I know. Yeah, it does work. It does work. You can have those guys that are just enthusiastic. You can have the guys that don't necessarily have all the abilities. I saw a drummer change from not being able to play at all to being able to play some very complicated music within a month and play it well, to a high degree. Yeah, it's just attitude, definitely.
It is, and if they're in your company and you're pushing them and they've got the right attitude, they'll often step up to it. And whereas you get the opposite, you get guys who are kind of like, technically very good, but they don't turn up to rehearsals, or they're always complaining, or they're just not into it, they're not motivated. So yeah, much prefer the motivated guys. Okay, cool. So yeah, if that's kind of what I would do with that. If you don't have the space, let's say you're fully booked in all your groups, and you've got just this one student, just as an example, right? You've got this one student who's sort of a standout, is just you can't think of any group that you can put them with, and all your groups are full. Then that student is not right for you. Whether it's them or whether it's that they're not responding to the course. Either way, they're not right for you. So I don't know if you're at that stage yet, but
you're the student that's above and beyond.
If you've got a student who's just either extreme, but not above and beyond, because that's a different story, which I'll explain in a minute. It's more the student this particular student who's not keeping up. Yeah, if you've got a student who's just not up with the pace, and you can't think of a single group you could put them into, then every other group, the students are just too advanced for them or too progressive, then that student is either not practicing, or they're just not able to learn. They've got a learning disorder, which is okay. We don't want to be prejudiced against people with learning disorders, but we don't want to put them in groups that aren't appropriate for them, because it's not good for them, and it's not good for the other students as well. We want to have them in a separate group. And if you don't have any space or groups available for that particular student, then you've really just got to pass them on to somebody else. There are plenty of private teachers out there, plenty of people who are happy to teach students for all different reasons. But what you're trying to do is cater for a particular market, and we're catering for students who can be grouped, really. And that's 90% of students. So it's most students out there, but there are occasionally those students who are either extreme. They're just not keeping up. They can't keep up with the group, or they're on the other end. They're just so advanced that there's no group really that would be any good for them. They're better off getting a one-on-one with somebody else. But again, they're both kind of rare ends of the spectrum. Okay, cool. So let's move on to another problem, because I want to try and do a role play or another challenge. So let's have a look. Is there any other examples of where
you can want to ask something?
Yeah, sure.
I was just in relation to that with the group.
Let us see your face, Joachim. Move into the camera just so I can see.
Yeah. Just in relation to the group. So with that person, how would you say to them that you want them to move to another group? What's the best way to communicate that?
Without like putting them down and making them feel like they're not good enough or something like that. Which is
Gotcha. Yeah. What I would do my first tact with them is generally to put them into do a one-on-one with them. Just say whoever they are, Bob, Joe, come see me next Wednesday at 2 p.m. I've got a space available there. I just want to sit down and go with you, because I don't want you to get left behind here. And so being an adult, I'm quite sure he's aware of the fact that he's struggling to keep up with the others. If the others are just cruising through these arpeggios and he's struggling, then he is falling behind. So you bring him in on that, say, that extra day for a private lesson one-on-one, and then you do like an assessment. You can even do it. What I used to do it is almost like almost as a routine assessment where I'd say to the student, Bob, every now and again what I like to do is do a one-on-one with you, just to really narrow down on some of the kind of challenges you're having. So you bring him in, and then you get him one-on-one, and then you go through it and go, Bob, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you into a different group because these are the things I think you need to work on, and I think this group will serve you much better. So you present it to him like a more appropriate group, not like you're downgrading him or doing anything of that nature. Make sense?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, okay, cool. Good. All right, so, Joachim, are you good with that one too?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yep.
Okay, great. And look, once you kind of build trust with people and you build that relationship, and you always sort of say to them, look, at times I'll shift you to a different group. Just kind of let people know that. Let it know it's part of what you do, that you don't get in one group and you're stuck there. I might shift you to another group if I think that you'll do better in that group. That's kind of what you want to do. And in worst case scenario, if you really think that you might upset the student, just move them to one-on-one for a little while, or start a new group with that particular student. And you know what I mean? Just say, look, I'm going to start a new group with you because, whatever. So, okay. All right. So So, what about any problems with kids? Any challenges there? Not even a problem, but just something you feel that maybe you could improve, or.
I can think of a past student that we had that was unfortunate. It was probably a bit late that we didn't take action in regards to it that we should have.
Okay, great.
Actually, it's a pretty good subject. When you're dealing with children of that age, around 6, that sometimes they get a bit teary, so they can cry and such like that. So, and obviously, they're under pressure. Dealing with that sort of situation, is quite challenging, especially with such close quarters with the parents, and they're kind of looking to you, going, "What are you going to do?"
Yeah, I know what you mean. You got the parent right there, and they're kind of going, all right, let's see how he handles the pressure of the child crying, because you're under pressure. Once the child starts having... Yes?
Sorry, just 1 sec, mate. Hey, you're good.
Music. It's happy, it's sad, it's a great movie. But the story's heavy. Oh, fantastic. I've got to come in and have a listen.
People always are just coming by and looking in, as you can imagine.
Okay, yeah.
So what you were saying?
Okay, so what we want, with this case of a teary child, or a child who's kind of in a situation where you get the emotional just because of the pressure or whatever going on, then it really depends on what's going on and how you will handle the situation. So what we need to do is really drill down on it. We need to get a few more details here just to sort of go into it, and we want to try. Is there any chance that door can be locked and closed? Just because if we get interrupted, it's really going to
just go outside. Don't just leave it open.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So here we go. So where you've got a child, this particular child, can you give me some more details about what happened? Again, no names or anything, but how did what was happening?
Okay, so it was like the first 2 weeks of when we were grouping them together. They were I think maybe a couple of months difference in age, but that age is quite different. So one of the students was very advanced and had a parent that was in the sings in the opera or the choir or whatever for the opera house and stuff. So very musical sort of family and very driven in that sense. And the other one, also very, very motivated, very consistent with their practice and such, but maybe just a little bit a bit slower in the process of learning. Obviously less pressure at home with the results in a sense like that. So when it came to bringing them together, one of the students was well and truly through some of the material. The other student was perhaps a little bit behind. But I guess like I'd grouped them together because I knew that they had very strong family support in the sense of how much they'd get done in that regard. So yeah.
Okay, cool. That gives me a good description. So the one that went into tears was obviously the one who wasn't as advanced.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So how long ago did this happen?
3 weeks ago. Yeah, 3 weeks ago, I think.
Okay. And how was the child the next lesson after that?
Well, as I say, like she only stayed for 2 lessons, I think.
I think they did 3.
Three group lessons. All right.
So the second time, I think it went okay.
Yeah.
And then the third time, it didn't go very well.
Yeah, like, it was like the first time she got a bit teary. Second time was okay, and then the third time was tears again, and that's when they made the decision to not continue, basically.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yep. And was there, what we're trying to look for is we're trying to really break it down to see what we could do differently. To avoid that happening. What was actually happening when they went into tears? Were you asking them to do something?
Yeah. Well, in particular, one of the things was when we were just doing Smoke on the Water, and I'd gotten her. We'd sort of done with the previous student, so the more advanced student. She could do it perfectly fine, and then the less advanced student found it quite challenging, and because of that, she broke into tears. So the first time we sort of like tried to rectify that, try to get her a little bit less to work on perhaps, and basically the parent asked, okay, we'll work on that a lot, and we'll put some time into it and such. And I believe that she went away and they tried to do it. They came back, and she hadn't learnt it the particular way that we wanted to.
Yeah.
We were playing it as a group. So that's sort of what happened in that regard. The mother did, I think, communicate with Joachim about getting like some music, the music itself, to be able to play along. But I think there was maybe just a bit of miscommunication, and what was it? You sent it in a slightly different key to what we were doing in the class. Or something.
Yeah, I think it was in C or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, different key. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So either it was a different key, or maybe she interpreted the information slightly differently. Yeah.
Correct. So, in a kind of, if we could rewind in a perfect world, what would you do differently? And you can do it. You can put them in a private lesson. You can.
Yep.
Whatever you like. What would you do differently?
I would definitely organise for a private lesson. I would have done that. That's probably the main thing we've done. If I'd been able to, if the parent had communicated directly to me and asked me, then maybe I would have been able to communicate personally to sort of say, okay, if you want like a bit of information to be able to read yourself, I can give you that, and that would have been like a good situation as well.
Okay. So after that first lesson, or in that first lesson, Joachim wasn't there. Is that right? Just you?
It would just be me. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you communicate after that first lesson what happened?
To Joachim?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I would have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And what did Joachim do at that point?
I asked him if that would be okay, or I think I asked what Ryan think. If it'd be okay.
Okay.
That's right. I remember. Yeah, I think. Well, I'm not sure what you said, but I know I made the decision that I thought, okay, maybe next lesson that I'd ask the parents just to sit outside. They're still like the door's still wide open, and I just said, well, maybe like it would just allow for Lily to have a little bit less pressure or less eyes on her, If she does have to be like she's something that she's not very good at, she'll be able to feel a little bit more comfortable. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So this is good. I mean, you probably after that first week thought it's no big deal. come back the next week, it'll be fine, and then the second week,
Yeah.
it went well anyway, and then the third week, she's gone into tears, and the parents have pulled the plug. The real problem is not the tears. I know that seems like the problem, but the real problem is the parents. The parents didn't understand what was going on, and they didn't know whether or not you guys had a plan, how to fix it, and what was going to happen. What happens is that what I do in my normal procedure is to normalize the situation and just to say to parents, and remember the word normalize because that comes up a lot, and that is to say to the parents, look, it's quite normal. It's quite common, when we've got students at different levels, because children don't understand. Children just think that they should be as good as the next child, but they don't realize that other child's had 3 years of violin training or something. That's why they're streaks ahead. And so for your daughter at first, this will be a little bit. She'll feel that she's inadequate somehow, that it's she's not up to the task, and that's very normal. Your child, there's nothing wrong with your child, and when you do that, that sort of stops them from overreacting and pulling their child out of lessons, anytime soon. So really, in that first week, let's just role play this for a minute, okay? Because this is what we want to do here is at least have one role play. So I will be the teacher, and we'll just imagine that the child's crying now, and what I do in the lesson is I'll say, okay, let's just call her for the sake of it Mary, and I'll say, Mary, you just sit there for a minute. I'll turn to the other student. Let's say her name's Joe, and I'll say, Joe, what I want you to do is have a look at the reading here, or have a look at this arpeggio for me, and I want you to just practice that for me. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep the class going. Keep it normal. Don't focus all your attention on Mary as if, disaster. We've got a big problem here. Just treat it as almost normal. So then what happens is once you've got Joe going on playing something, then look to Mary. Once she's settled down, then what you start to do, okay, Mary, you ready to give it another go? And then let's have a look at this and take her back to something that she's really good at, and just stop everything, stop the whole class and go, all right, I just want everyone, we're just going to have a look at the picking again, or we're going to have a look at that C chord, the one-finger chords, the C and the G7. And so take yourself back to a place, take the class back to a place where Mary feels comfortable and confident, and build it from there. And that way you'll kind of calm the situation pretty quickly, and you won't have looked like you've been at all worried about it. Because what parents will do, as you pointed out yourself, is that they will look to you to see how you're handling the situation. And their decision is often based on what they see going on as far as, is this normal, or is our daughter not handling the situation? Is this too much pressure for her? Whereas when it's normal, I know, for a fact that there are many parents who would never pull their child out of a situation just because they shed a few tears. They kind of have the attitude, well, get over it. You'll be fine in a couple of weeks. It's just all part of it. It's not that you're not compassionate, or the parents are pushing their children too hard or anything like that. It's not that. It's simply just letting children know that turning on the tears is not the ticket out of there. If they're not handling it, speak up. And that's the message I send to my daughter, is that if you feel that something is too difficult, tell me. Use your words. That's what your words are for. You don't need to break down into tears. You don't need to throw a tantrum. It doesn't need to become a big emotional deal. And that way, what you're doing is you're creating a situation in your classroom where tears are not something that you're going to react to. They're just, all right, have a little cry, just go through the emotion, and then let's come back and then start again. And let's take you back to a place where you feel comfortable, and let's go from there. And that's where, when you do that, and then you explain at the end of the lesson what you've done to the parents, I would then go, let's pretend you're the parent. I'd say, okay, Ron, I just want to explain what happened there. Mary's obviously she's had a few tears in the class. And look, it's not unusual when they feel a little bit of pressure or they feel that they need to be at a certain level. But I want to say this, and you can say this while Mary's there. I want to say this, that Mary is doing extremely well. She really is. I can see that she's doing the practice. She's filling in the log. All I care about is that she's putting in the time and doing the practice. I don't expect her to be of a certain level now. She's only been learning for 6 weeks, and we can't expect her to be at that level. So, and then you say to the parents, what we're going to do is we're going to slow down the pace a bit. We're just going to make it a little bit easier, just because I don't want her to feel overpressured at this point. I just want her up, and I want her to enjoy it. And then turn to Mary and go, Mary, you're doing really well, okay? You understand? You're really doing well. Don't feel pressured to have to, you know, be of a certain thing. All I want you to do is practice those one-finger chords this week for me. Can you do that for me? Yep, cool. Give me a high five. Bang. We're done. All right, so Mary, I'll see you next week. Just practice those 2 chords for me, okay? So next week when she comes in, knowing that she'd shed tears the week before, just spend that week doing things that she can already do. Don't put her into the deep end. Don't put her under pressure. Don't make her feel. Now, I know that this raises the question of what about the other student? The other student's going to feel that, you know, here we are playing one-finger chords. You can still stretch the other student, but what you do is you pick a topic, like I'm saying here, the one-finger chords. You pick that, but you get the other student to play full chords instead of one-finger chords. So you set the bar at the level and of those particular chords. Or you can even get the other student to play something else. Like they could be doing the reading while Mary is just doing the chords from the book, say the C and the G7, just strumming the first bar of the chord while the other student. So what you're doing is you're keeping Mary at her level. So she's doing things that she can do, that she feels confident with, and then and at no point in that second lesson, at no point until you actually build her confidence up. You may take a few weeks to build her confidence up, but what we're wanting to do is build her confidence and also keep filling her with messages that she's doing really well. Where you're at now, Mary, is where I expect you to be. You're not behind the pace. You're doing really well, and keep instilling into the parents, because what the parents are really looking for, the reason that you know, in most cases that parents will pull their child out is if they feel the lessons aren't working. It's not so much their child's reaction, it's just whether they feel that it's working. If they read that the child is crying as the lessons aren't working, or if they read the fact that the teacher doesn't look like they're confident in that situation, or it looks like the teacher was thrown by that child's action, whatever you do, do it confidently. Even if you don't know what you're doing, still do it with absolute confidence, and that way you've at least got another week to work it out. You can bring them back the next week and have another go. So that's a great experience, because it's look. I mean, when I in the early years, especially teaching kids, tears were not that uncommon. You know, I think every now and again some kid would cry, but you know, really in the sort of the last 10 years of my teaching, I can count 2 kids who cried in that whole time, and it was really about confidence building. If you look at teaching guitar, the main role, the main skill of the teacher is building confidence in children. That's really, if you can build confidence in children, the same as, you know, the role of a manager is to build confidence in their teachers and employees, and that's the same with you. You know, we've already had a few conversations, and I already know from what you've told me that you've got experience with children. You're good with kids. You're good with the teaching. You know, I've got this from Joachim. I already know that you're a good teacher, and I know what we're working on now is just the fine details. We're just going to be looking at particular cases. So it's not about you know, where you're at. You're already of a very good level. So what we're doing is taking you from being at this level to the next level and to the next level. It's just about constant improvement. I'm not, you know, nobody is the perfect teacher. We all have work to do. You know, you put me in a situation, there's still plenty to learn. It's just that, you know, I'm always hungry to learn more. I'm always hungry to know what I can do better. Even today, this meeting, this video, I'll go back and I'll watch it and I'll look at it and I'll think, how could I have done it better? What other ideas could I have added? What's a better way to present this message? You know, what else could I have given Ryan and Joachim in this particular meeting? So yeah, constant improvement. That's what you're trying to do all the time. So in this case, what I would do is use it as a case study. You can even call it now. I'm just using the name Mary here because we're not using names, but you can even label this as the Mary scenario. And the Mary scenario is when you get another kid of her age crying, or you get that emotional kid. So you know, okay, we better pull out the Mary file and go back over this because we've got another Mary here, and that's really the way that you'll be better prepared next time. Look, the odds of it happening to you again are now at least half. Yeah. Just because you've been through it, and by talking about it now and going through it, we're even lessening the chances of it happening again. Cool. Cool. Okay, excellent. Tell me, what I want to know now is something a bit different. Tell me something that you've done that you're proud of in the last however many months. What's something that you've done with your teaching that you feel, wow, that I did well there?
I think getting getting people into groups was pretty good. Especially seeing when you make the right decisions, and you feel confident with the decision you made to put certain people in groups. How they interact, that's always really good.
Right.
Just I guess the certain relationships of building with students. So to see that that's they feel confident, when they come into the class, having students say that it's something that they look forward to in the week. So that's great. Yeah, that's a good start. Yeah.
Excellent. So if I was a new teacher, I'm just there now, and you've got to train me, all right? So and I say to you, okay, Ryan, I'm watching you with these parents and kids, and you just seem to have a knack with them. How do I talk to parents? What should I say to them? What's let me to help this be more specific. I've got a 6-year-old. It's the first lesson. What do you recommend to me to be able? What should I do? How do I talk to build the relationship, to build a bit of confidence?
Well, I think talk to them as if they were your friend. I guess it's normalizing, as you say, normalize the situation, and just find out what they're interested into, what their interests are, what their history of music is, perhaps, and just try to create a relationship, like a genuine relationship. Really find what you guys have in common.
All right, cool. Well, let's do it. I'm going to be the 6-year-old, and you can be Ryan. Okay. I'll try and be a 6-year-old as best I can.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were saying with the children's parent. You're saying, right?
Yeah, parent as well. Yeah, parent as well. But let's just do it. Let's play it like this. Let's this time I'll be the 6-year-old, but then we'll switch and we'll let Joachim be the parent in a minute. But first I'll be the 6-year-old. I've just walked in. I've got my guitar. I'm a bit nervous. I've never met you before. What's the first thing you say to me?
I'll be like, say hello and get them to give you a high five. Like, hey.
Okay, let's do it. Let's role play. Just role play. You go. I'm David. As just say, hey David, whatever you say.
Hey David, how you doing, man? High five.
Oh.
Hey, it looks like you got a guitar. Are you ready to do some guitar practice today? Ready to learn guitar?
Yep.
It's going to be so much fun, man. Come on in. So, get them on in. So, what sort of?
Okay.
That's it. Cool. So, what did you get up to today? Did you have school today?
Yeah. I went to school. Yep. Just finished about half an hour ago. Yeah.
What did you guys get up to at school today?
We did mathematics today.
Ooh, do you like maths?
Yeah, it's fun sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. When you get the right answers, I guess. Right?
Yeah,
That's cool.
exactly. Yeah.
Music is a lot like maths as well, actually. So it's going to work really well. If you're good at maths, you're going to be really good at music as well. It's very logical.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
putting little pieces together. It's like a puzzle in a way. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool. Good. Can't wait.
All right. Well, you got your guitar out. Maybe we should get started then.
Okay. Yep. Good. Thanks. Okay. Cool. That's good. Let's switch to Joachim as the parent. So can you get in the screen there, Joachim, a bit?
Yeah, I can.
Just maybe go back a little bit further if you can. All right. So now that's it. Yeah. Cool. So now Joachim's going to be the parent. So what would you say to the parent?
Hey, Joachim, how's it doing?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. Nice to meet you. Man.
Yeah, good.
Cool. So have you played music before in the past?
I played guitar a few years ago when I was very young.
Oh, cool.
I haven't really picked it up since.
That's all right, man. You got a little bit of experience. This is going to work really well. You know, you guys can. This is something that you guys are going to be able to do together.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
So, what sort of music are you into?
I like the old music. I like the Beatles.
The
Beatles. Yeah.
I love the Beatles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of music.
Excellent, because that's like a lot of the stuff that we do in the classes is going to be really applicable to that sort of style of music as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's great.
So it's perfect. You guys be able to play some music. Maybe you'll be able to start playing guitar again. Because, working so closely with your son, you're going to be able to kind of help him along with some of the skills, and you're going to be able to share some of the music interests you guys have, but maybe in a little bit of a deeper level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And will I be able to? How do I how would we do it at home? Would I be able to help him out?
Yeah. Well, what we were looking at is that you're going to be we're going to find a bit of time for you guys to be able to do that, practice consistently every day. I assume that you're going to be the one that's practicing, is it? Or is it you or your wife that's going to be practicing with him each day?
It would be a bit. It would be maybe me for some days, and then.
Okay. Yeah. Is she able to also come to the lessons?
She might. I'm not too sure. She's quite busy. Maybe
like just even once a month. It'd be really good to have you all here, so you can see, she can see how he's developing as well, and she can get an idea of what we do in the class.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Excellent.
We'll see if we can organize that.
All right. Well, let's get started.
Okay. Good. All right. Okay. All right. So let's go through it, and it's obvious why you're doing well, right? Let me say, because you really covered the important things, and you're confident, and you're friendly. You make me feel comfortable. I don't feel intimidated by you or awkward or anything like that, which is really important. Those kind of things. So, like I said, we're just going to add to this to see if we can make small improvements. Now, before I do that, is there anything that you think you could improve on?
Not can't think of straight away. Not off the top of my head, really.
Cool. That's okay. Good. So one thing I would do, I'd use names. So, for instance, when you first met the kid, use his name. So
yeah.
You obviously know his name. Go, "G'day, David. How are you? Come on in, mate." And try and use his name a few times and make it, because, as you said, you pointed out, which was great, was that people, try and treat them like you already know them, like they are a friend. And one of the things with friends is we use our friends' names. And that's, once we start using someone's name, they feel like a friend. It's much quicker to get that, because they know normally the people who talk to them and use their name are people who know them. They're not strangers. So that's interesting. And the same applies with the parent as well. Use the parent's name. And also give your name. Keep sort of saying, "Hi, I'm Ryan," and do it a few times. I try and throw my name in a few times early on in those situations, because people can forget your name. Unfortunately, for a name like yours, it's very easy to forget in our culture. So what you can do is even, that's why people wear name tags in a lot of businesses. It's because it keeps the name in front of the person, which takes away that awkwardness of, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. So by really establishing those names, you really make the relationship get off to a great start in a strong way. So they know your name and you know their name. So you might even have your name up there, have a picture of yourself with your name on it, like they do at gyms, where they put the names of the instructors up on the wall. Okay, that will just add that little bit extra. The other thing is open questions. Try and by open questions I mean ask them. You did it a couple of times, which is great. But try and get more. Just add a little bit more in the open question scenario of asking them things like, so you know, what kind of music are you into? Which you said, and then they say the Beatles. Okay, the Beatles. You know, any favourite albums or particular era? And they go, yeah. And so, what was it about the Beatles that you really liked? Oh, you know, blah blah blah. And so rather than yes/no answers. Yeah. Great. What I also do is try and, as you pointed out again, which is great, is finding that common ground. Things like with the kid, like find out what they're good at. Find out what they already know really well, because the quickest way to get someone into a space where they feel confident is to talk about something that they are already good at. It's easier when you're talking guitar, you're just about to lead this little kid into an area that he knows nothing about. And so he gets nervous and shy and loses confidence, the same way we were talking about Mary before. When you say, what are you into? You know, not just what school, which is good, that was great, because you touched on, you know, what did you do today? I also go, well, what are you good at? You know, what do you do? What are you into? You know, I ride my bike. Oh, okay. And so how often do you ride your bike? Every day, every afternoon we go riding on the bikes. Oh, wow, you must be pretty good at riding bikes. Yeah, I'm really good. Oh, cool. So what can you? How fast can you go? Oh, I go really fast. And I can do this and I can do that. So you get it. You know, it could be anything. It could be a video game or whatever. But by touching on something that they're really confident with, then you get them into the confident mode. They start talking about it, and you know yourself. As soon as you meet a stranger and start talking about something, they go, "What do you do?" And you say, "I play guitar," and they go, "Oh, cool. What kind of guitar are you into?" Then you know, I know all about this subject. You know, don't ask me about the political state of Ukraine at the moment. I know nothing about it. But if you're talking guitar, this is my subject. Yeah, I can talk all night. So that's why when you talk to me, and when any of the teachers and the members talk to me in this scenario, I come across as an authority, because I talk about something that I know really well. But in other situations, I know nothing, and I don't know anything about the topic, and I look like an idiot because I don't know anything about that particular topic. And if I try and pretend I do, I'll look even like a bigger idiot. But here, I'm an authority, and that's why people go, wow, you know a lot about, you know, Dave's really smart, isn't he? Well, no, he's just smart about one sort of area. I'm not smart about everything. There's a lot of things I don't know. So that's where we get people into an area that they know about, they feel confident, and get them into an area that they don't know about, where you're the authority, you're the master. It's very easy for them to feel scared and intimidated and nervous and emotional. It's very overwhelming, and that's where when we look at Mary, we think of that whole scenario. So, does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And Joachim, anything that you would add? Anything that you
to that, or something else?
On that particular conversation that we just had there, anything that you could, any advice that you would give to Ryan?
I would just, from what we talked about like in the last meeting we had, so about with having games, so like give the parents like some games they can play, show them the video you made, so that make them give them an idea of how to make it more fun to practice, because that will come up that one day they don't want to practice and parents don't know what to do.
Okay, cool. So yeah, give the, and that's in that particular conversation that was pretty short. So I know what you're saying. We do want to add that on, but that's okay. I'm sure Ryan would get to that a bit further into the lesson once you start talking about practice.
I've started using them, so yeah.
Okay, fantastic. You know, just really that, and that was what that conversation was about. It was really kind of warming up to the child and the parent, really, you know, building that relationship with them as much as you can, and letting them know that, you know, you're in a very comfortable, safe, friendly place. You know, you're not going to feel intimidated here. You know, we're going to make this fun for you. And that way, yeah, it's going to be much easier on the child, and you're going to get less sort of problems and tears, and they'll feel comfortable. So that's good. All right. So what I want to do in the last bit of this is just switch to something completely different, because what we've been talking about this whole time is the teaching, which is great. And remember, like I said, my meetings used to go for longer, so we kind of have more time with role play and away we go. But what I want to also touch on here, Ryan, is anything that you would want within, and this is imagining, you know, without sort of, I know this is all can be awkward because you want to speak honestly, but just imagine that I'm the owner of the business, and I'm asking you, is there anything that you would like me to do for you, anything you would like different done in the business? And in this scenario, in the meetings, because the meetings are open to everybody, okay, so it's not a time to discuss wages or money or anything like that. It's conditions that you want to discuss. Discussing money is always done in private, whereas you discuss conditions, you do it in the meetings. You can open up to whatever. So is there anything that you would like? I mean, we talked about a few things already. Have they happened? Have you got your guitar stand, your music stand?
Yeah, there's a guitar stand. There's a couple there. We've got new music stands, which is great, and got a proper chair that you can sit on. Yeah.
Right. Excellent. So is there anything else that you need without being you don't have to have anything else, by the way. I'm not asking you to come up with stuff. I'm just make sure you've got.
Perhaps like just in the future, you know, being able to control like the different, because of the air again. It's just like it's a long-term sort of thing to work on. I understand, you know, but like the air conditioning, the airflow in that area is just sometimes students, like if it is a warmer time in there, then it can be uncomfortable for students, and you know, if I'm sitting in there for a long period of time, like we did turn the air conditioning on, but you know, I don't want to have to see Joachim and his students freezing for the sake of my students to be just a little bit more comfortable. You know, I understand it's ridiculous, but it's just saying that we are making progress on that. I know Joachim, you have asked me to ask my father, who's an air conditioning mechanic, if he knows any good ideas. I've asked him in the past, and it's not always, you know, you're not always going to get a response in a sense necessarily. So, but
okay,
yeah,
cool. Okay, cool. And as far as the business, improving the business, is there any suggestions you've got for improving the business?
The actual business running itself.
Yeah. Any advice that you would give from your perspective that could be done to improve the business?
Oh, well, one idea I've had that I've probably brought up is that because of the open day, it was an interesting experience. It's the first time we've done it. You know, there's a lot of good things, and there was some things that we want to work on and stuff. What most of all I noticed is that people had opportunity to like feel like they could come in and actually talk, because it had like that sort of thing going on in it. So I thought, like, I feel like if anyone stood out the front of this place right now, they could just stand out there and maybe talk to people, and you could probably like get people booked in like that. I know it's possible. It seems like, yeah, that'd be really cool, because we could have it maybe more open vibe. For instance, on a Sunday, we could even do a regular sort of a thing like an open day, but just maybe a little bit more low key, like maybe just having someone play out the front, which is sort of cool. I think, like, you know, as I've sort of mentioned to Joachim, I have friends that play music for a living, and they're more than happy, you know, as long as you're paying them a musician's rate, you know, they'd love to sit out there and to play, and people will come by, I imagine, and want to interact. You know, maybe put some chairs or something like that out there. People are going to come by, interact. Here's an opportunity for whoever's going to be talking to people to talk to people. They go, oh, this is great. This music's sort of happening. You guys are a guitar school. It's great to see that guitar school has people playing.
Fantastic.
on a weekend. That's a great opportunity where kids are going to be walking by, parents are going to, adults, everyone's going to be walking by, and that's going to grab their attention immediately. Yeah. So I think it's just that would be like I imagine you could probably fill up all the slots we have available within a week or two. You know, a bit of development on actually like how to communicate effectively with customers, like sales related sort of stuff that I've plenty of retail jobs I've done in the past. It's not the most difficult thing to do. At first it can be a little bit confronting to do it, but yeah, easily just go out there, talk to people. Doesn't matter. Some people are going to go look at you a bit funny. It's okay. The people that you want, they're going to be very open. They're going to go, yeah, sure.
You're in Oxford Street. There's a lot of funny people, so you won't look odd.
Yeah, exactly. We'll stand out in a good way.
That's right. You'll blend in. I think that's a fantastic idea. I think that I would like to know how many people walk past in a week. Any guesses? Any numbers?
How many people walk past here? Oh, thousands.
Thousands. Okay, that's a lot of opportunity.
All the traffic as well, all the people on the street. There'll be thousands of people that walk past here every day.
Okay, so, and we know from the flyers that 1 in 1,000 people will enrol.
Yeah.
Right. So if you get 10,000 people walk past that shop, which is possible, I'm not sure exactly how many would, but
I've stood out there and just people have stopped and asked questions, and in that conversation I've managed to sign them up. It's the very few times that I've ever done that, probably like maybe 5 times, and quite a few times I've booked people in for it.
Yep.
Just
fantastic. And I think, see, it's all about testing. From the point of view of business for Joachim, it's about going, okay, this is a great idea. Let's put someone out there one day and see what happens. Now, Joachim, if it's a matter of finances, because I know that Joachim's trying to build his business on a minimum budget here. He doesn't have someone cash cow who's sort of throwing money at him. So he's got to build it from the ground up. So I would be inclined, if that was me, I'd be out there doing it myself. I would just go, well, I can't afford to pay anyone right now. So if I was you, I'd be just standing out the front there. And just, even if you don't do flyers for a week, if you just spend that every spare moment you have of that particular week, count the hours that you do, and even clock the number of people that come past, get out there, play guitar, have some flyers, wear a clown suit or a fluorescent suit or whatever you want to do. Just get some attention. Dress up like a member of KISS. Anything that will sort of give you sort of attention. And you don't have to be a great musician, because 99% of people who enroll for guitar lessons are not looking for you to be the world's best musician. They wouldn't even know the best musician from the average musician. You got to be a good musician to know what a good musician is to start with. But if you're out there and you're playing some popular songs that people recognise, you will be surprised. We did this a few times. I did this at various times throughout my career, and we had one time we had a bit of a band going out the front, and we drew a big audience. We had like hundreds of people all stopped and drew this big crowd. And yeah, if you can, anything you can do to get out there, promote, and really get those people in, then what you're going to grow your business faster. And this, I think, fantastic idea, Ryan. And so my question to you, Joachim, is this something that you think you can do?
Yeah, definitely. I'll try it. Sure.
Okay. Okay, good. Let's do an experiment. Let's run it. I know that it'll work.
What's the best day?
The best day?
Yeah.
Well, a Sunday might be the best day for you, because every other day you're pretty busy, I'm sure. But whenever you think the most people are walking past, I mean, Sunday is good because there's not a lot of people. People aren't busy. They got time to stop and have a look and see what's going on. And if it works on a Sunday, then another day it's definitely going to work, because it's a bit of a slower day. You don't have as many people walking past. It's not as busy, I think. How does it compare? Is Saturday the busiest day in Oxford Street, or what?
Um, I think Saturday because there's the markets. There's a lot of markets going on Saturdays.
Okay.
So a lot of people come out. Yeah.
I'd be out there. And look, if you can make it routine, where every Saturday or whatever, every Sunday, whatever the day is, you're out there. I do it on the weekend by the sounds of it to start with. But if you're out there every Saturday, you're bringing guests, and because there's a lot of contacts between between us guys. We've got a lot of contacts in the business who could come there, who could stand out the front and play a song, sing a song, hand out flyers, and and you guys are going to be so booked up, in 6 months from now. And if it's a Saturday thing, then you might get to the point where you're so busy that you've got enough money to pay notable people to come and actually be there. You can get the winner from The Voice or something, and get them to come down and sing a couple of songs, and put that on the website or in the This is your entertainment center. This is your stage. This is where dreams are built. So you want to really take advantage of what you've got there, and I think Ryan is just really onto something. I think that if you can work on this one, it's going to be huge.
Mm-hmm. What just out of curiosity, what songs would you have to play? What song would you pick?
I would probably, let me think, obviously classic, kind of a couple of classic Beatles songs, a couple of more sort of maybe a Led Zeppelin song or two if you've got the voice for it.
And Let It Go. Every kid that's seen that movie Frost or something has been going on about that.
Huge. Yeah, my daughter just sings it every night.
Yeah, I don't understand why. It just seemed like no offense to whoever wrote it, but it just seems a bit of a bland song.
Look, it's the formula, and look, that formula really works. It's a standard formula, but it's also the emotional connection. They watch a movie, they hear the music, they make the connection to the movie. So. That's a long running formula.
Totally.
Yeah. So definitely play Let It Go. And if you can find some students to come and even some kids to sing Let It Go out the front with you while you're playing the guitar, even better. But every weekend can be like an open day. Every weekend can be a promotion.
It would work amazingly well.
Yeah, I think you'd really become something we're talking about. And look, if you want to really take it to the next level, with this kind of promotion, you can go to the point where do things like give free coffee on a Saturday or something, so people drop by for a free coffee. Something where it's cost you much.
The biggest things I'm talking about,
yeah, things like that. Get balloons, give away balloons on a Saturday. Kids just go nuts for balloons. Just have it every Saturday. Like here at Bunnings, every Saturday, and Officeworks, they have a Saturday. They have something for the kids. So the parents go and take their kids to Bunnings. They will do these colouring in and drawing. So you could have literally a kind of a free Saturday morning group for kids where they come down and they colour in pictures of guitars and they get a balloon or they get their face painted or whatever. Every Saturday just have something different and entertaining for kids. That's what I'd be doing. Excellent. So anything else that we want to discuss in today's meeting? Anything's open. Anything you want? Hey.
I have something. Just with some students, it's kids students, and then they're slacking behind with practice. and then I go through the day with them. What days can I practice? And they say, it's impossible. I can't. I'm so busy, or I can't do it. But we walk through it, so I actually find a time every day that we agree on. But then next week it doesn't work quite well, so I'm not sure if anything can improve on doing that better.
Okay. Yeah. So you're talking about a student who says that they're going to do the practice. You write down the times, but then they turn up and they haven't done the practice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's imagine you walk in. I'm just going to role play it here, and I've got, I'm looking at your practice log, and I go, Joachim, dude, what's going on? What's happened, mate? Talk to me. Tell me what's going on. You're the student.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on. I'm looking here at your empty practice. I know you want to be a rock star. I know you want to be an amazing guitar player. I know this. I know this is what you want to be, but I'm looking at an empty practice log. Talk to me.
Yeah.
What's happened? Tell me what happened.
Oh, it's just been very busy. It's so much to do. But just when I get home, I have to when I get home after tutoring, I have to have dinner, and then I'm tired, and then I go to sleep. Then I go to sleep. Don't have time to do any practice.
I've got you down for doing practice at 7:30 each night, Monday through to Saturday. So 7:30. Something happened?
Yeah.
What happened? Sorry?
I had a lot of homework.
You had a lot of homework, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. So is that common, that you get a lot of homework every week?
I think some weeks I get a lot of homework, some are not so much.
Okay. And this is for your schoolwork, is it? The homework?
Yeah, for school, yeah. And I also do tutoring as well.
Okay, all right. So you've got a pretty heavy week. So have you really got time for guitar, Joachim? Let's be honest. Have you really got time for guitar?
Yeah, I want to do it.
You really want to do it? You sure? Because you have to. We can't do this every week. We've got to find the time. You've got to commit to it. All right. So if we write these times down, you've got to commit to it. So I don't mind when you do it. We just got to pick a time, and then you've got to stick to it. You've got to stick to that like it's your best friend. That it's like you making an appointment with your best friend to turn up and not turning up week after week, failing. They're not going to be your best friend for very long. They're going to disappear. Okay. This is what you need to do. And what I want to tell you is that it becomes a habit. Once you slot in your practice and you do it every night, it takes. They say. From studies that were done actually in the College of London, they found that it took 66 days for you to establish this as almost a lifetime routine habit. So if you can stick to it for 66 days, which is only 2 months, then this will be your habit. Okay? So I'm all about one day at a time. So all I want to do is I'm going to get you to take this, right? And I'm going to ring you tomorrow. I'm going to ring your mobile phone and make sure that you've done your practice. Okay? All right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ring you. I'm going to ring you every day and make sure you do your practice this week. That's how committed I am to you. All right? Okay. So let's get into it. All right. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay. I'm really committed to this student. I'm not going to let the student off the hook. And if I ring the student, I don't get through, or the student says, "Oh, I haven't had time to practice," blah blah blah. Why? Tell me why. You know. And then at the end of the week, if I rang them every day and they still have practice every day, despite that, I just said, "Look, dude, I'm going to give you a refund. You call me when you can find the time, because I can't take your money. I can't do it. I feel really bad. I feel really guilty. It's not about the lessons, it's about your practice, so I can't do it. So I'll refund your money. Tell me your bank account, or sorry, I'll go and click PayPal now. I've just clicked the refund button. You got your money back. Come and see me." When you're ready, because I want you to do this. I know you want to do it, but right now your life is just way too busy. When they realize how committed you are, they're going to practice. They're going to go, "Oh no, he's going to ring me again tonight. I've got to do this practice."
Would you say, it doesn't matter the age, the kids, adults, doesn't matter? Calling them every day. No.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, if they're a parent, with a 6-year-old, and they said, "Oh, we didn't get time to practice this week." You got to practice. We got to do this. What's happening? Talk to me. Talk to me. And then really make a big deal about it. Really sort of get sort of make it fun, but also that you're serious. That this has to happen. We can't go on like this. You're almost like the desperate, lover that goes, "Sweetheart, we can't go on like this. We have to work this out." And just be totally committed to the fact that they need to practice. And because once they realize that you're not going to accept anything else, then they'll either leave or they will do the practice.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, they'll do the practice because they actually like the fact that you're so committed. They like the fact that you believe in them so much, and that they realize that you're rare. You're not the average teacher. You're not the kind of teacher who just goes, "Oh, well, okay, well, yeah, try again, try harder this week. Come back next week. Oh, you didn't practice again. Oh, damn, that's no good. What happened? Oh, I was busy. Oh, okay, well, have another go then this week." They don't want that kind of person because that kind of person is not committed. Think about your students as your team. That you're coaching a soccer team or something, and these are your players. Sorry, coach, I couldn't come to training this week. What do you mean you couldn't come to training? You don't come to training. It's not going to happen. So, are you with me, Ryan? Do you know what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Yep. And
He's taking a lot.
What's that?
He's just saying he's taking a lot. He's taking a lot of notes.
Okay, fantastic. Good. Yeah, I can't see him anyway, so I'm just making sure he's still there. So that's really what you want to do. You want to be so committed to your students that practice is not negotiable. It's not an option.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you're on board. And look, when you get a reputation for this, people will come flocking to you. The parents will be telling other parents, "You've got to see this guy. He's fantastic." That's what happened to me. They say, "You've got to go to David Hardy. He's just the best teacher ever." And it's because I was the best guitar player ever. I'm not. Far from it. But as far as commitment as a teacher, I was up there with the best. And that's how I do it. That's how I play.
I think Ryan had a question.
Oh no, I was actually just you. I'd love to be able to call the students like in those sorts of situations. Do we have access to? Do I also have access to the list of all the numbers?
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, they're all on that the online.
Yeah.
Cool. Because I think I was going to call. That's what I was going to do with 1 or 2 students this last week, but I wasn't sure if I had the numbers or something. Yeah.
Yep. Great. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's what these meetings are about: is sorting out what you can and can't do. And definitely.
The other thing is that I have heard about that sort of a method in the past. Do you think? I guess if you approach it as it's like your friend, then definitely it's going to be fine. I just I want to do it, but the only thing is if you approach it from this different point of being we're very disappointed in this person. And why haven't they haven't done the practice? Are they doing it today? It can come off a little bit to what's that other way? I don't know. Yeah, that's all.
Right. The disappointment thing, I don't recommend it. Some teachers use it. I don't recommend it. I'm all about keeping it positive. And like you would your friend, dude. I can't let you do this to yourself. I can't watch you. And so I have to make sure you practice. And if they're there, look, if they know that you're that committed, and you ring them and you keep it friendly and positive, and you ring them and just say, "Hey, it's Ryan. Just want to, I told you, I promised you that I'd call you tonight, and I want to see if you've done your practice. Have you done your practice? Don't tell me you haven't done your practice." And then and you keep it sort of funny and comical and light-hearted, but at the same time they know that you're serious, that the practice is what you're all about. So.
One of the things that I have started doing is actually I have a group page for my students on Facebook. Do you think that's a good idea, or is that going a little too far or something like that?
I think so. I think you have to be involved in it at a school level. So so the group is where everybody comes in. Look, I mean, we live in an era where we can't, and I don't think that employers even should. We can't just have these kind of lines and barriers between, you're teaching these students, you have a relationship with these students, so you're quite entitled to contact them on Facebook and make connections with them.
Yeah. I've added pretty much as a test, I guess you could say, and I feel like it's allowing them to be able to post up music and share things and have a conversation with other students from different groups and things like that. And it seems to, like, that whole idea of making them feel like they're a part of something, I feel like that's allows them to do that, even in like their own personal sort of time, personal space. And I think I feel like it's having a positive effect, and I haven't really seen anything negatively come from it. But I just wanted to see, like, maybe there is one thing. I did have a student in post, I guess, criticisms of someone else's choice, but not like very lightly. But it was just like, it was a repeated sort of a thing of being like, oh, this is quite good, but I think that the original is better, sort of thing, like that. And it's just funny. And I always wanted to be like, I'd lead up their comment by saying, oh, this is a fantastic piece. Thanks so much for sharing it. And then I'd say to the other student, I'm like, oh, that's also really good, and also why don't you post off some other stuff? But I thought maybe there's something when I'm adding them to that group, I can be like, okay, well, this is, as we kind of in here, we're sort of just saying, hey, we try to keep this positive. This isn't to criticize anyone. And I think maybe that's the first thing I should do before I add them online and stuff like that. Yeah.
I think so. I think if you just prime them up before they join the group, that's what I do with everybody who joins the G4 Guitar teacher group. As I say to them before they even join, everybody is here to support each other. It's a positive vibe. We're not here to criticize. I go with the thing of, if you want to criticize someone personally, then go to them personally. Don't blare it all over the group or a public space. If I've got an issue with Joachim, I'll contact him personally one-on-one, and I'll say, this is my issue. The old saying of, criticize privately and praise publicly. And so yeah, I just say to the group, if you've got an opinion about something in a negative way, just keep it to yourself. If you know that person personally, then go and talk to them one-on-one about it. But let's not put it up on the group. And you might even say to them, look, I will delete anything that I think is negative, and that way you've got that right there to do it anytime.
Yeah.
Sorry.
With this student, is there a possible, like, maybe I should just say to him, hey, thanks so much for sharing the stuff that you have, but perhaps maybe like try maybe share some stuff and try to keep the criticism to a lesser,
Look, generally, generally the first time, unless it's sort of very blatant criticism, generally the first time I wouldn't say anything to the student, because generally they pick up on it. A lot of people make comments and then they realise, well, I shouldn't have said that. That's kind of, they realise they're in a public space. They just reacted. They go, oh, that's not the best song. This is the best, blah blah blah. And then they've realised that they've sort of jumped in. So you can sort of let it flow, because you don't really want to make them uncomfortable or embarrassed, especially if they're a student.
Exactly. That's exactly right. But I think perhaps they've probably taken that on board. I think so, but I just make sure in the future, before adding is the biggest thing, is just to say, hey, it is a great resource we have. We like to keep it very positive. We're here to encourage each other. And if there is anything that, like, anyone says inappropriately, I will remove it. I guess, what you said there is pretty much the best thing to do. Yeah.
And if you've got a group of students and that student's in a particular group, just say, hey guys, I just want to mention the Facebook page again, just in case any of you here haven't joined. Go and join it. I'll send you the link if you need it. Just remember that we keep it positive. So you're not pointing to that one student. You're not saying, hey, you've got a negative message. You're just saying to the group, hey guys, come and join the group. It's really good. A lot of stuff going on there. But I just want to make the point here of keeping it positive, and that way you're letting that student know without actually directly looking them in the face and saying, hey, don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good.
I always go for the indirect approach whenever there's I want to direct, and it happens in our group sometimes. Sometimes I'll sort of take an indirect approach towards certain people's comments and whatever. but then if they're persistent, you know, if they've posted up a couple of times, then I will actually go to them directly and say, hey, dude, can you not put those kind of comments up, because we want to keep the group positive. I respect your opinion totally, you know, and in fact I agree with some of the things you're saying, but you know, I just want to make sure that people aren't being offended in the group. I know you're thick-skinned, but not everybody is. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. We've gone for 90 minutes, so we'll round it up there. And I hope that's been helpful and gives you kind of an idea of, you know, the kind of things to do in a meeting. A meeting, you know, I'm not about having this kind of organised meeting of where we have to do this and we have to do that, etc. in structure. I know the lessons are very structured, but the meetings that you have here should really be a chance for you guys to talk and to then go through scenarios. And Ryan, I make this point again, is that, you know, you're a very important player in the business for Yoakum, but your role can actually, you know, if you play your cards right, then you can get as much, if not more. And I always make this point, is that the early people to most successful businesses were very supportive in the beginning. They were flexible, they communicated well, and they also became often almost as wealthy, if not wealthier sometimes, than the original owner. And you only have to look at the original Microsoft people, the original Google people, the original people with Apple, all these companies, the original employees, for most of them, they became pretty well much as wealthy as the owners, as the original person. So there's a real opportunity for you here from the ground up to work with Yoakum and build. And if you know, it doesn't even matter, whatever Yoakum does goes on. I already have this trust and faith in you and know that you're doing great things. So I'm not going to forget about you either. So even if, you know, and I'm not wishing this on Yoakum because I know he's going to be a superstar, but if something did happen to Yoakum and happen to the business, then you talk to me, because I already know that you're a good teacher and I know that you know G4 and you're a loyal supporter of G4.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's good to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're growing. We're international now, you know, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're going to be able to say, "Hey, I was there, you know, as one of the early members of G4," because it really is going to keep growing. I have very big plans for G4, but at the moment I'm making sure that we get the infrastructure in place. And I can't take on 1,000 people right now. I'm focusing on the 40-odd teachers, like owners, I should say, that we've got now, so I can get the structure right. I can work through things like this, so that we have these examples of videos and we have the training and everything in place. And then we're getting close. But once we start to have all that in place, then we'll be upping the marketing and we'll be getting more and more teachers, more and more owners coming on board and expanding the operation. Plus, I hope that Yoakum will open a second, maybe third location, etc., and expand his operation. We've just got to get this one right first. When this one's right, then he opens more. You can then step maybe into a management role or something else, get the bigger package and all the extras and the flexibility, work from a laptop and cruise around the city and do whatever you like. These are the kind of things that come as we grow. And it's fun. Like, you know, business really is fun. It's, you know, you're learning, growing, and you know, it's not a boring office job. You're part of something. It's better to be a part of a growing business at the early stage than be part of some big corporation where you're just a little number in a big...
Yeah, exactly. I hate working for larger businesses. It's absolutely horrible.
Yeah. You're expendable as well, you know. We don't need you. You're very valuable to Yoakum. You're actually extremely valuable to him and valuable to G4. So we know that, and so we respect that. You know, and from Yoakum's point of view, he wants to make the business profitable and make it work. He's still early stages yet, so the more support he gets from you and the more we can communicate, the better we all do, basically. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay, I'll let you guys go. You must be going to teach soon, I'm sure.
Yeah. 1 hour is it?
No,
okay.
Half an hour.
Okay, cool.
Okay, well, you guys can have a bit more of a chat. Okay. I shall you go.
Till next
All
time.
right. Next time. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.